Click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon for more updates.
One of the most problems with 2016 Sony Xperia X Compact was that it had forgotten its bequest. Whereas maintaining its picture, pocket-sized behavior, it lacked the sinew and quizzical quality seen within the Xperia Z5 Compact. Thankfully, Sony seems to come back to its senses with the Sony Xperia XZ1 Compact. This new 4.6-inch smartphone is capable of regarding everything its larger relation, the flagship Sony Xperia XZ1 is, however, during a smaller, additional battery-efficient type issue which may be simply operated with one hand. The Sony Xperia XZ1 Compact unharnessed date is pegged for September, with pre-orders gap within the GB from August 31. Meanwhile, there is presently no word on the XZ1 Compact value, which is able to ultimately confirm whether or not this phone are going to be nice worth for cash or associate expensive iPhone's arrival. We'll update this active as presently as we all know. Below are our first impressions of Sony's new palm-friendly smartphone, however keep tuned for our enlarged thoughts from the ground at IF 2000. Design and display. Like the new Sony Xperia XZ1, the XZ1 Compact has received a trifle of a shake-up in terms of style over its forerunner. Whereas it's still boxier than the larger flagship, its edges are slightly rounded off for an additional technology feel within the hand. Compared with the life-size XZ1, you may expect some compromises within the method of compressing this phone into its compact kind issue. However, apart from its dimensions, which Sony hasn't formally confirmed, there's honestly not abundant that's totally different here, and that's an honest factor. While the chunky style might ab initio build folks steer clear, there's one thing rather lovely regarding the XZ1 Compact. Its virtually cutesy look is appealing, and for the selfie-obsessed market that Sony's aiming for, the Compact are a lovely proposition. Despite being abundant smaller, the XZ1 Compact retains the XZ1's button and port layout, twin S4's front surround speakers for 500th additional instantaneous sound pressure that its forerunner, and most significantly, power. Essentially the body of the phone is plastic, however it's not as easy as that, and it definitely doesn't desire a low-end telephone set within the hand. The unibody is made from a glass fiber woven plastic, that is each sturdy and lightweight and conjointly provides the phone a lovely feel and end. The highest and bottom of the device area unit capped with metal, whereas the front is protected by ponged glass. Sony's habit of constructing its smartphones dust and waterproof continues here, with the XZ1 Compact having associate degree IP65/68 rating, which implies it'll even survive a dunk underwater. However, it's not all positive. The amount rocker is concerning a similar size because the power button, so the margin of error for creating the incorrect volume adjustment is agent. Also, Sony has all over again inexplicably omitted the fingerprint device within the power key for the North American nation market, limiting security choices to a pin, pattern or simply no logo the least bit. Come on, Sony, get with it. The XZ1 Compact are going to be obtainable in 4 colors, black, snow silver, horizon blue and twilight pink. The show rocks a 4.6-inch, 720p HD resolution, that is customary for Sony's compact line and well positions it against its main rival, the iPhone 6. That said, it'll still sound sort of an unsatisfactory alternative for a few. However, we have a tendency to did not notice any quality problems, and admittedly, if it equates to super long battery life, we'll take the hit in resolution. The battery. The 2,700 mAh battery within the Sony Xperia XZ1 Compact might not sound nice on paper, however with its smaller 4.6-inch show as well as the improved power potency of the Flower 835 chipset and Roboto software package, it's the potential to supply some terribly spectacular battery life. TechRadar spoke to a Sony representative throughout our active time. WHO told USA the XZ1 Compact has excellent battery life, One thing we have a tendency to worry won't be an equivalent on the larger Xperia XZ1, that has an equivalent size electrical converter. We'll be golf shot the battery to take a look at throughout our full, in-depth review. Therefore currently we'll cross our fingers and hope the XZ1 Compact will live up to Sony's claims. Camera. Did we tend to mention that the Xperia XZ1 Compact shares plenty in common with the XZ1 flagship? As well as sporting an equivalent chipset, button layout, front-facing speakers and battery, the XZ1 Compact conjointly boasts an equivalent 19MP rear-facing camera. That means it's a sensing element that's capable of super slow-mo recording at 960 frames per second, burst shooting whereas keeping moving. Camera. Did we tend to mention that the Xperia XZ1 Compact shares plenty in common with the XZ1 flagship? As well as sporting an equivalent chipset, button layout, front-facing speakers and battery, the XZ1 Compact conjointly boasts an equivalent 19MP rear-facing camera. That means it's a sensing element that's capable of super slow-mo recording at 960 frames per second, burst shooting whereas keeping moving.